What's up, everybody? Matt coming back at you with another banger. Another banger from the North Carolina home of the Panthers, baby. I was thinking, man. I was thinking about a story I could tell about my last bid. I really wanted to illuminate something from my last bid, and it's just one main thing comes to my mind, man. And this goes, I guess I've heard other channels talking about, you know, going from a cell setting to an open bay or a bunk setting or a bunk setting or whatever. But for me, I did that too. I was on a high level too. And not because of my charge, man. I was in there for a DUI, bro. Let me clarify. It was my fourth DUI in 10 years. So they hit me with habitual offender status, right? So that bumped me up 2 levels. Anyway, usually in this state, man, when you get ready to go home, they try to move you to a camp close to the town you live in, or if there's a prison in that town, they'll move you to that prison, which is what they did with me. It was like a month and a half to the gate, and they moved me to the prison here in my town, right? And they do that, I guess, to save money, because the buses are gonna run anyway to all these prisons. So when you starting to get close to your gate, to your home date, they just put you on a bus ride and send you to a prison close to home. That way, say they send you to a prison far away from your home, and you get out from there, they have to buy you a bus ticket, like on the Free People bus ticket, and you got to get on that bus and take a ride, right? That's how they do it. I guess they do it to save money. And if you're eligible I was eligible to drop down a level. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't. Once I got all right, I was eligible to drop down a level. So they woke me up 3:30 in the morning. First of all, they send you a letter, right, and an internal institution letter that says that you've dropped points and you are now eligible to go to a different level, right? So you're now at a lower level, but you haven't left your prison yet that you've been at. They don't tell you when they're gonna leave for security purposes, right? So one night they wake you up. It's about 3:30 in the morning. The place I was at, Tabor Correctional Institution, it's right. It's probably an hour and 15 minutes from here. I live at the coast on North Carolina. In North Carolina, I live on the coast in a beach town. So but that ain't how they transfer. They just don't pick you up from that prison and drive you straight here. They everybody on the transfer days. I think it's Tuesdays and Thursdays the transfer days. Anyway, they wake you up at about 3:30 in the morning and put you on that bus, and they drive you. They drive around and to different prisons and picking more people up. And once they got their bus filled up, basically, they drive you all the way to the other side of Winston-Salem, which is the foothills, damn near the mountains, to a place called the Bullpen. Now, the Bullpen, I don't know, I ain't never heard nobody talking about the transfer, like how the transfers work in other states, but this is how they do the Bullpen. All the transfer buses in the state for that on that day go to the Bullpen. So you're gonna wake up at 3:30 in the morning. They transfer, they picking everybody up. You're sitting on the bus. You're gonna be on the bus, and they gonna give you that bag lunch with milk. You're handcuffed in black box. You're shackled. Try drinking on milk. Try drinking on milk with your wrist handcuffed to your waistline. Try to open that little carton of milk and drinking that motherfucker. Try that for a change. It's amazing. Shit's fucking crazy. But anyway, So they give you that, right? And they send you down there. They send you up to they send you down to the bullpen, right? And the bullpen, I didn't count them, but I would say there was probably a good 15 buses there, you know, and they're school buses. They're school buses, but they painted white, and they say NC Department of Corrections painted on the side of them. You know what I'm saying? So you got 30 plus, 30 plus people to a bus times 15 buses. All right, so do the math. That's how many people. That's how many people's there. And excuse me, damn. So once you get there, your officers will get off, and there's loudspeakers, right? It's just all it is just this area that's it's fenced in. It's just a fenced in field with razor wire on top, and in the middle there's like a roof type thing. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what they call them, but it's like a roof. You know what I'm saying? With some 6x6s in the corners holding it up, you know, and the rafters up there. It's just a roof, right? And inside that roof, there's one hallway. It's a long thing, right? There's a little dirt walkway, and there's on the right there's two pens, two big pens, right? Fences, they're fenced in, right? And there's two of them. You go in this one, or you can walk up and go in the other one. And on the left side, if you got low points or you're a misdemeanor offender, they try to keep the felons and the misdemeanors separate. They try to, but they end up running out of room. They pretty much do every time. But on the left-hand side, there's four of those, but they're in the same amount of space as these two, so it's tighter in those rooms. It's so tight over there, bruh. It's so tight over there that you can't sit down. There's benches along the edge of the wall of the fence, right? There's it's just wood. There's for somebody to sit down, right? And there's in each one there's a row, and it goes all the way from the front to the back. These things are probably as wide as 2/3 or 3/3 the width of a single car garage door. That's how wide the whole bin is, right? And there's 4 of those bins for the misdemeanors, right? Now the felons get bigger bins because I don't know why they did it like that. Probably because there's more of us than them. I don't know, but anyway. So they call your bus now. There's a big ass PA system. So then they call your bus, right? And your officer standing outside. Now what they do is they go outside and they start pulling all the property from the under the bus bins, right? So they call your name, you show your ID, walk over, grab your property, right? And you walk down, and there's COs in that little farm building thing where the pins is built into them, and he looks at your ID, looks and checks his thing, and he puts you in a pen, right? Well, I've always been put to the right side with the 2 big pens, right? And inside the big pens, there's these we had toilets, we had running water, and that kind of stuff, right? And it was big open area. We had our seats along 2 walls. And it was just big open space in the middle. You know what I'm saying? But as the hours start ticking on, and they start calling off more buses, more misdemeanors start coming off of them buses, and they start going to the left side. And I'm gonna tell you, man, they fill them up so tight, bro. Motherfucker can't even. They are standing literally shoulder to shoulder in there. They cram you in there. Now, when I transferred, it was the middle of the summer. You know what I'm saying? Because I was going home a month and a half, and I went home September 14th. So this was August, beginning of August when I was there. so it was hot. But I was over here on the felon side. But those misdemeanors, man, as the day went on, they would pile them in, pile them in, pile them in, move to the next one, pile them in, pile them in, pile them in, and every now and then, a few people would come to our side, and by the end of the day, I mean, those guys over there were so piled in, like their faces were up to the gate, to the door, like they couldn't move, man, like. It was crazy. I was like, man, how can they pack them people in there like that? That's nuts. But they do. That's how they do it. And then once they get everybody and everybody's property off of the buses, then the guys that were telling you to go in, which cage to go into, those guys will start calling you back out. They'll start calling. Now, mind you, everybody's still shackled and handcuffed. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, I think we was the only ones shackled and handcuffed. I think that's why they had it separated, because I don't think them guys over there were, because they minimum security, you know what I'm saying, probably the highest, they probably ain't nobody over there got no more than 2 years or something like that, you know what I mean, they're minimum security guys. Anyway, we shackled and shit, right? So they start calling us back off, they start calling us to go back on a bus to where you're gonna go to. And they call your name out, you'll say, yeah, you know, and they come open the door, show them your ID, and then they tell you which bus to go to. You get to that bus, you drop your property bag, show CO your little ID card, and then you get on the bus. This whole process takes, I would say, from unloading to and loading the buses, man, it's nighttime. I don't know. It's nighttime before I got back, because what they did was they sent me from a prison an hour away from the coast here, all the way to the mountains to do this little transfer thing, and then the prison I got out from was all the way back here. So I had probably one of the longest rides that day. So what they do is, and then they fill the buses back up, right? So my bus was coming back in this direction, and so it's not just people going to the same prison you going to. It's people, you know, it's gonna stop at other prisons on the way and drop some people off. You know what I'm saying? So by the time, and my prison is literally the last stop. It's the last stop. They actually park the buses overnight here. So by the time we got here, there was only 3 of us coming to this prison. Now, I had gotten my paper back at when I was telling you, I got my inside institutional paper saying my points had dropped, and I had made a level drop. Excuse me. And I did. And the reason that they put me in this high security place, man, it's basically my past. It's my criminal record from before. I've got some assaults. I got some assault on government officials. But the main reason was because I was wanted in another state for aggravated assault in another state that I'd never handled. You know what I'm saying? I had a fugitive warrant from South Carolina for aggravated assault. Anyway, that's the whole business. But anyway, once I got to this prison, I still had that from South Carolina. So they put me there. They didn't want me there. The captain called me in his office like the first day and told me that they didn't want me there, and they don't know why they sent me there. All this crap, playing tough, right? And so what they wanted to do to punish me. See, this was a minimum camp, right? So these are the guys that you see on the side of the road picking up trash. They got what they call CWP, community work programs. These are the guys that might go into uh, like a preschool or something like that and paint it. Um, I remember a long time ago on my first prison bid when I was in minimum security, I had a job in the CWP, and we did some real it was a good learning experience. It was summertime, and we actually went into one of the local high schools where the prison was at, and buffed and waxed every floor in the building. You know what I'm saying? And then we went to the gym, and it was a real hardwood floor gym. Somebody had already come in with their sanders and sanded the gym, and it was up to us to put the new stain on. So we learned how to stain hardwood floor in there. I mean, you know, it was a cool thing. So those are the type of things that this prison had, right? Well, fast forward back to me getting to this prison, my points were still really too high to even be minimum. They wanted me away from where I was at, and I was getting close to the gate. So they just sent me down here, and plus I had that fugitive warrant, South Carolina. So my points should have never dropped regardless. And so what their answer to that was okay, since we can't send you nowhere because Raleigh's the boss, and we got to do what the boss says, so we're going to keep you here, but we're going to give you a job where you can't leave the fence, right? So I couldn't get a job cleaning trash off the side of the road. CWP, they even had two shifts. Actually, it's 4 shifts, really. 4 shifts of people working at 2 different chicken plants in 2 different cities here in North Carolina. You know what I'm saying? And those are street jobs. Like, those guys are making, like, excuse the light, man. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get the light shit right. Those guys were making street dollar an hour money. But they had to also pay, I think it was like $110 a week for rent to stay in the prison. But they got to keep the rest of their paycheck in their account. And you could work there, man. Some of them guys have been working there for 2 or 3 years, man. And they getting out with a stack or 20. One guy I think got out with like 28 grand that he has saved up from working at the place, because you can't spend but $40 a week. You know what I'm saying, on your canteen, the rest of it, and then you pay your $110 rent. So that's $150. You make $450 a week. So bam, the rest of that's going in the bank, you know. And then so he clocked out with that, and there was quite a few guys that did that too. So what they did was, when I went and saw my counselor, my camp counselor, I told her, man, I was just like, yo, look, I got hep C, because I didn't want to work in the kitchen. I hate working in the kitchen. And she said, well, then there's 2 other jobs we got that you could do, but one of them's already filled, but you can work in the clothes house. There was yard porter, the guy that, like, as a matter of fact, this prison that I got out from, they actually still have free weights and stuff, which was awesome. So it was, I could be a yard porter, or I could work in the clothes house, but the yard porters were taken up, so I worked in the clothes house. All right, but I was making this video on the transition from going from a higher level cell unit prison to a dorm setting. And very first night in this place, I just got got my bed made. I didn't even organize my locker yet, because that bus ride and everything just wore me out, man. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to get in the bed and lay it down. So I just made my bed, and got up there, laid down, lights went out, and the bunks, are back. My head would be against the wall of the building. You know what I'm saying? My head's against the wall of the building. and my feet are sticking towards the middle of the building. Then there's a hallway, and then there's a wall directly in the middle of the building, and there's inmates with their head against that wall with their feet facing my feet, which is like, but there's a hallway in between us, right? So there's a hallway there. Well, directly across the hall and to my left, two guys got into it. Now, when you're in that dorm setting, it's your locker is against the wall. Our lockers are against the wall back here. Now, whatever side, I think my locker was I think your lockers are on the right. I might be mistaken. It's been a little while. But whatever side your locker is on, that side is considered your driveway. You know what I'm saying? That's your driveway. That's where you walk in and jump up on your bunk. That's what you use. You don't use the other side of your bed because that's somebody else's driveway. Well, this dude across over this way, he was getting up. And he'd already been there. If you're there more than 2 days, then you know what side of the bunk to get up on and drive. You know what I'm saying? Or unless you just ain't got no type of respect in you, and you just a sorry ass inmate. I'm gonna be real, but you a sorry ass inmate, man. If you can't figure out your institution, figure out how to be respectful to the other man that's laying to your next, to your right, above or below you, you just a fucking pussy ass inmate, man. A convict has a little bit of respect about him. You know what I'm saying? Uses the right thing. If something goes over there and you need it, hey bro, excuse me, bro. Can I grab that? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the difference between an inmate and a convict. It's respect, man. It's respect to and I hold people around me to that respect in the utmost, because that's the way I give it. So, but anyway, this other cat across the way over there, he rolled off his bed and decided he was going to stand up, get up and walk away on somebody else's driveway. Now, he might could have got away with that if there wasn't nobody around him, but the dude where he rolled over and was trying to get up was sitting on the edge of his bunk taking his boots off in his driveway, and this guy right in front of him tries to get off of his bed onto his driveway while he's trying to take his boots off. So that's just like slapping a man in the face, really. You basically saying, fuck you, bro. You don't mean shit, man. I don't even see you. That's basically what you saying to him. So that's how dude took it. And he says something back. He had one boot off, and he said something to the dude. I didn't hear what he said exactly. They got into some words over there, and then I seen dude putting his boots back on, and that dude that got up off the wrong driveway, he walked straight over. Now there's a podium at the door where the cops go. Now they'll have to walk rounds, and then they'll go to their podium and I think they got a notepad up there with some sort of notepad up there where they can check off, okay, we checked this building, it's okay, whatever, and then they'll walk out. Overnight, they'll come and sit in the chair right there by the booth and just fall asleep. That's what they do. But this was early night. You know what I'm saying? It just so happened that the CO was in there. And it was overweight black woman. She was in there, and just writing at her desk, at her little podium right there by the door. And this dude that got up off the wrong side of the bed walks right over to the police in front of everybody that's laying up on their bunks and not really sleep yet. The light just went out. Everybody heard this argument and shit, and this dude walks right over to her, and you can hear him, and he says, "That guy right over there just threatened to hit me with a lock." Says that right out loud, right in front of, right out loud, right in the middle of the dorm. And I sat up because I was laying down. I sat up on my bed. I looked around, I looked left, I looked right, I looked back left. There was one other dude sitting up over there. I gave him a nod like that. He gave me a nod like that, and I'm like, shaking my. I'm confused. Like other people are still just laying down like nothing's even happened. So the officer comes from her podium over to walk to talk to the other guy, and she says, "Did you threaten this man to hit with a lock?" Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, officer. He said, that's what he said. I don't know what you're talking about, officer. I ain't threatening that man with nothing. I don't know what his deal is. He's crazy or something. And and I'm still sitting up on my bunk. And while and this is happening not no more than 10 feet away from me. And I just came from a higher level facility, man. Where, I mean, that's unheard of, bro. That is unheard of. If you do some shit like that over there, we'll code blue your ass so fast it ain't even funny. You would be out of there, homeboy, and in a bad way. And I I probably shouldn't have done it, but when I was sitting up, I was looking around, I was confused, man, because nobody was really even looking, paying attention. If they were just letting it happen. So I was like, I like hollered it out. I was like, am I gonna have to be the one to say something about this or do something about it? And as soon as I said that, that officer turned and looked at me and pointed. She said, I'll be right. I'll be over there to you in just a second. And now I'm in trouble. I'm in some trouble, you know what I'm saying? And she's over there talking or whatever. Nothing happened with them two guys. She didn't take none to the hole. Nothing, because nothing happened. It was a fucking verbal argument. The dude was just a pussy. Got scared and ran to the police. So after she got that settled, she walks right over to my bunk. And she says, now, am I going to be having problems out of you? Because I will take your ass to the hole right now. And I said, does stuff like this happen quite often? She said, like what? I said, like, do people just run up to y'all and when they have an issue like that? And she says, first time it's happened to me. And I said, well then, maybe we won't be having problems then. I don't know. And that was the end of the conversation. She walked off. She said, no, she didn't walk off. She said, well, don't let me catch you threatening nobody else. I said, I didn't threaten anybody. She said, well, all right then, well, don't you be threatening nobody in here. You ain't gonna threaten nobody in my block, squeezing that little badge of hers. You know what I'm saying? And that was the first night, bro. First night in there. And I was in they housed the kitchen workers and the clothes house workers in the same block over there. So all of them worked together. You know what I'm saying? And I was in the clothes house, but these dudes were kitchen workers. So, they're going to see, I mean, it was like, what the fuck, bro? Like, that was just a mind explosion to watch that dude walk over and just straight tell on that other guy like that. It was, I was thinking to myself right then. I was like, I'm just going to get off this bunk and I'm just going to go over there and start firing on him. Right now. I'm going to get over there and just start firing on him because, if stuff like that's happening here, then I'm going to end up doing a lot worse to somebody else. And I'm just not trying to catch no more street time, man. I'm ready to go home. And I just knew, man, I just felt like it was a trap off. You know what I mean? Because it was a fucking... And then later on, as I started, getting immersed in the camp and stuff like that, after a couple of weeks, I start finding out that, it's pretty much a fucking snitch camp. I mean, people just have no problem with just walking up to the police and telling on somebody. You know what I'm saying? So, man, I never got told on for nothing. That was the only time I ever saw anybody blatantly just told on like that. But, the cops was getting talked to all the time. The inmates was way too friendly with them. Just the whole change in The whole change in the living situation, the whole change in the caliber of inmate slash convict you're around every day, the movement on the camp. I mean, everything was different, man, and it was messing with me up here. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't want to be there. You know, and the place is literally 5 miles from my house. And I just did not want to be there. I'd have rather gone back, right on back where I was used to programming. And I'll tell you what stopped me from doing that, the weight pile. Because at the higher level places, they don't have free weights. But here, this place is one of the few places that they do have free weights. So the free weight, I was like, look, the reason I was like, they got free weights, so I'm not gonna jump down fire on this dude. I'm just gonna stay away from as many people as I can. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut and just try to slide under the radar. And that's how I kind of made my last month and a half. There's another story I'm gonna get into about that place in another video, but I've been going on for 30 minutes now, so I'm gonna wrap this one up. Anyway, man. Yeah, so that's the North Carolina Department of Corrections transfer from a high facility to a low facility. So, all right, it's your boy Big Matt. Hit me up, like, subscribe, hit the bell. I make videos probably once a week, something like that. Man, I hope y'all have a blessed day.